Are the 302 documents in the FBI's possession?
They reviewed all that, yes, sir.
And so have you reviewed those 302 documents where the victims name the people who victimized them?
If I personally know, but the FBI has.
3 minutes ago, something that had been postponed for years finally happened in Washington. Congressman Thomas Massie did not circle around it. He did not waste time. He did not dress it up. He stood up during a congressional hearing, looked FBI Director Kash Patel straight in the eyes, and asked the one question no one had dared to ask: have you actually read the Epstein files? The answer was not clear, and it is precisely that ambiguity that caused this moment to be replayed again and again on every major network tonight. Watch this video until the very end. Because the documents Massie pulled from that folder and the look on Patel's face when those names were read out loud reveal everything. If you are new to this channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this story is not over. On the contrary, it is only just beginning. Let's set the scene. A House Judiciary Committee. Oversight hearing. Afternoon session. The agenda was completely routine: budget questions, operational updates, counterterrorism briefings, the kind of classic Washington theater where what needs to be said usually never is. Kash Patel entered the room with his usual confidence, 3 lawyers beside him, 2 aides, briefcases in hand, shoulders back, chin up. The posture of someone who believes, "I've survived worse hearings than this." He thought today would be just like the others. He was wrong, because Thomas Massie was prepared. So who is Thomas Massie? If you don't know Massie, here is the first thing you need to understand. He never asks a question unless he already knows the answer. MIT graduate, engineer, a libertarian in the truest sense. Someone who reads every bill, questions every vote, and does not back down even if his own party is angry. They call him Mr. No because he knows how to say no to anything that does not pass his internal logic test. He is not interested in optics. Facts are his focus. And today, he came with documents. The first 45 minutes, everything was normal. Other members asked their questions: cybersecurity, Chinese espionage, domestic terrorism statistics. Patel did what he always does: polished answers with no substance. He glanced at his notes. He looked comfortable. He thought he was in control. Then it was Massie's turn. At that moment, the energy in the room shifted in a way everyone could feel. Massie did not smile. He did not exchange pleasantries. He opened a thick red-tabbed folder and began to speak. "Director Patel, I would like to introduce 4 documents into the record." The room fell completely silent. The documents. The first document, Jeffrey Epstein's 6 story played out in plain sight for years. In this article, former U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta is quoted saying, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." Massie paused. He let those 3 words hang in the room. Leave it alone. The second document, warnings from Epstein's bodyguard about his CIA connections. The third document, Fox Digital, Epstein's private calendar showing planned meetings with an Obama administration official and the CIA director. The fourth document, Wall Street Journal, 36 meetings between Jeffrey Epstein and Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel and former head of military intelligence. Massie looked up and said, "If there is no objection, these documents will be entered into the record." Patel's expression did not change, but his hands were pressed firmly into the table as if gripping it. "Now we get to the core," Massie continued. "I watched your testimony in the Senate yesterday. Senator Kennedy asked you directly, did Epstein traffic these women to anyone other than himself? Patel's answer was on the record. There is no credible information to support that. Massie leaned forward. That answer is interesting because it contradicts what is actually written in your files. The room went ice cold. Massie continued, You said the 2006 to 2007 Florida files were constrained, but that does not apply to the Southern District of New York. The 2019 sex trafficking indictment, thousands of pages of documents, and FD 302s. Massie pulled out another sheet. FD 302S are FBI interview summaries. They are official records, not rumors, not speculation. Massie stated clearly, These documents in the FBI's possession describe at least 20 men to whom Epstein trafficked victims. He named one, Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank. There were minors among the victims. One of them was Virginia Roberts Giuffre. The room froze. Cameras fired rapidly. Reporters buried themselves in their phones. Massie was not finished. That list includes at least 19 other individuals, he said. A Hollywood producer worth hundreds of millions, a royal prince, a very high-profile figure in the music industry, a powerful banker, a senior government official, a prominent former politician, the owner of a car company in Italy, a rock star, a magician, and at least 6 billionaires, including one from Canada. Massie looked directly at Patel. We know these people exist. We don't know who they are, but the FBI does. Then he asked, Have you launched any investigations into these individuals? 20 seconds of silence. A full 20 seconds. In Congress, that is an eternity. Patel finally spoke, but his voice was now defensive. Massie stayed precise. Are the FD 302 documents in the FBI's possession? Yes, Patel said. Have you personally reviewed them? No, Patel admitted. Massie leaned back. Then how can you say there are no names if you haven't even read the files? Patel had no answer. The CIA file. Question, Massie delivered the final blow. Have you seen the CIA file on Jeffrey Epstein? And if you wanted to see it, would they show it to you? Patel's response was cautious, conditional, uncertain. If it exists, if it hasn't been turned over to the FBI. That was not the language of someone who knows. It was the language of someone who does not want to say. Why this matters. Massie did not shout. He did not accuse. He did not perform. He simply read the documents and asked the right questions. And Patel's vague answers said everything. The files exist, the names exist, the documents exist. But someone is still being protected. An FBI director admitted he has not read the files. Sometimes in Washington, the most dangerous thing is not raising your voice. It is asking the right question.
If you want to see what happens next, subscribe now. The documents are released tomorrow. And this story does not end here.